I'm going to try to make this my last BB and Ray or Gar and Rachel video, at least until season 4 episodes start coming out, and there's like nitpicks in those episodes to actually start, doing more BB Ray or Gar and Rachel content. But until then, I'll try to keep away from the Gar and Ray, BB Ray moments in live action Titans, and probably center more on like Teen Titans Go or like other characters in the show, or just not even about the romance aspect in general, just like what the show has to offer like as a whole, because it's definitely more than just a romance show. It's way beyond more than that. But with that being said, back in March I made a burning questions video that I made when shortly after I first saw the live action Titan series. And so I decided to make that burning question video because it was just obviously bugging me for a while. And then I saw the series again like a few months after that. And of course, obviously with the new season coming out soon, everybody else started to do a bunch of other hype and a lot of other videos. And it seems like a lot of people, or a decent amount of people for the most part, kind of are on the same boat I am for the most part. I noticed something that I had, like when I asked my burning question of like, why is Rachel's powers different compared to, when it comes to Gar compared to everybody else? And I realized like there actually is some supporting ground to that theory, even all the way back in season 1, actually, even in the first 4 to 7 episodes of season 1, kind of confirms this. And that is that, yeah, her powers do have a different effect, or kind of sometimes no effect on Gar for some reason. And the reason I noticed this, or know this, I guess now, is in the first 2 episodes they make it a very, very consistent point to let you know that you can't really lie in front of or to Rachel. You really can't. We know that through, like, in the first episode, you definitely see it with her mother. Like, she flat out says that, you can't lie to me. And then, like, in the next episode, like, she's pretty much hinting that she can tell that Dick is lying to her in the car, but, like, he just keeps going anyway. And then we even get as far as seeing that when she makes physical contact with Dawn, like, handshake, we can see that, like, she can now sense Dawn's emotions and everything like that, which is accurate to the comic books and everything, so that makes sense. Again, throughout that whole remainder of the episode, it's kind of a theme about, like, you can't really lie to Rachel. She even says to Dick Grayson that, it's impossible to lie to me, right? And then, of course, we get the big reveal that he was, in fact, lying to her the whole time. But after that, those first 2 episodes, we kind of get like a little origin episode is what it's called, going back to the church, kind of find a little bit more about Rachel and Corey as well. And then the next episode is when you get properly introduced to Gar. He was definitely introduced in Origins, with the whole infamous pinball scene. But, like, this is, a continuation of that, where he clearly either sensed or followed her, or just happened to be in the same woods at the same time as her. And, they meet, and while he's in tiger form, and she doesn't run away. She's actually more or less confused when she sees it, because it's a green tiger, so I guess that makes sense. But at the same time, you could also see that she's visibly confused when he changes back into a human, and she doesn't really run away from him or anything. In fact, like, when he insists that she tags along with him and reaches his hand out for her to grab him, she grabs onto it similar to the way she did with Dawn. But we notice that we don't see any powers activated. We don't see her sense any abilities of what Gar is or who he is or anything. He pretty much has to tell her all this throughout the remainder of the episode. And that right there is one confirmation right there. But another thing that's worth pointing out is that the reason why I say 4 to 7 episodes is when you fast forward 3 episodes later at that point, because that's episode 4. 3 episodes later, and in the asylum, we have this entire scene where Rachel is believing the guy trapped in the bathroom, believing everything he's saying, even though she's not actually in the room. She's hearing it by proxy through Dick Grayson and Corey. whether or not they should go or not, everybody kind of decides to say no against her. Even Gar, when she's like that's her like last resort of like who she wants to go with and like not wanting to go alone or anything. And he says, "I'm sorry," and that's enough for her to believe that he is on their side. And so, of course, we have this whole other scene where he pretty much has to explain flat out that I was lying in front of them. You have to pretty much lie when you grow up around the chief in order to actually kind of get what people want or get what people want to believe. And this is not really, I mean, I guess lack of a better expression, this is pretty much news to her. Like, this is, again, coming off as a visible confusion to her. So it's just very interesting that we see plain and clearly that she can't physically, like, know who he is based on contact, and she can't tell when he's lying or not. So already in the first 7 episodes of the series, we can already clearly see, despite the connection that Corey said that the two have, we can already clearly see that her powers are either non-effective or completely different when it comes to Gar as opposed to literally everybody else. And, of course, this also kind of is a continuation to my burning question video in the sense that I asked that as a theory because of the fact that she can sense where Gar was and find him in the warehouse, even as far as finding his clothes in Gotham PD before finding him in the abandoned warehouse. And she's asking him literally the next episode, because that's the last we see of them in that episode, where are the others? Do you know where the others are? Obviously telling us that she can only find him. And again, that was the start of my burning question. That was when I saw this series the first time. I've seen it again, a few months ago. So then there's a little more understanding to not only that, but everything else in the series. But that's kind of drifting away from what I'm talking about. But no, like it's kind of interesting that there is kind of a sense of not really an out loud kind of an out loud confirmation. It is kind of nice knowing through context of conversation, if not conversations, we know that her powers are in fact different when it comes to Gar. The only remaining question is why, but maybe season 4 will answer that. Like, we can clearly see in the trailer that season 4 is very much going to be about like the people of Azarath and the cult of the Brother Blood. And we've also been heavily implied, or even hinted, that Beast Boy is going to have a prominent role in this season as well. Not only getting his own suit, which is accurate to his original red and white suit back in the 60s and like early 80s, but like the fact that he's the only actor in the entire series that is getting a co-written credit for any of the episodes for the series thus far. He's writing episode 7 with Jeff Johns, who's obviously a co-creator of Titans. So the fact that him and the co-writer of Beast Boy are writing this episode, it's very interesting, especially since it's worth pointing out that I don't know if season 4 changes this or not, but it's worth pointing out that there is actually not an episode flat out called Beast Boy, or even Gar Logan for that matter. There isn't one. I mean, and it's very possible they could easily do that down the road. We have, like, I think 2, if not 3, or maybe even 4 different episodes, all similarly named Hawk and Dove, but just different ways of saying it. That's a whole different conversation. Again, like, I feel like it's better to just kind of save most of my 2018 Titans content till like, November 3rd or afterwards when season 4 starts premiering. And until then, just play by ear, I mean. But that's only 2 weeks away anyway. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I guess I'll see you next time.